The shadow-drenched architecture of the Wandenreich bled into the shattered DC multiverse, the fabric of space violently buckled. With a brilliant eruption of yellow energy, Superboy Prime burst through the cosmic glass. Clad in his anti-monitor-inspired solar armor, he surveyed the hybridized ruins with crimson eyes, screaming furiously into the void for his perfect Earth. Miles below, resting on a throne of reishi and Soul King bones, Emperor Yhwach sat profoundly bored. Prime's telescopic vision caught the insult. Before his voice could even bridge the gap, the Kryptonian slammed feet first into the stone floor, sending spiritual shockwaves tearing through the throne room. Prime pointed a finger at the unmoved Emperor, demanding his perfect world. When Yhwach calmly dismissed him as a child throwing a tantrum, Prime unleashed blinding beams of heat vision. Yet, as the smoke cleared, Yhwach stood unharmed, shielded by his Blutveen. Mocking the crude physical mechanics of Prime's power, Yhwach opened his eyes, revealing the multiplying pupils of the Almighty. Yhwach warned that in the next second, Prime would lunge and lose his right arm. Ignoring the prophecy, Prime attacked at light warping speeds. Reality stuttered. Without Yhwach ever swinging his blade, Prime was hurled backward through solid stone pillars, his arm twisted at a horrific angle. Yhwach had simply plucked a future where the boy was broken and dragged it into the present. Gritting his teeth, Prime snapped his arm back into place, his Kryptonian healing factor instantly sealing the bone. Fueled by sociopathic rage, he rejected fate entirely, declaring he dictated his own story. Accelerating with sheer, timeline-bypassing speed, he struck the Emperor with a crushing blow that sent Yhwach tearing through his own palace. Surprised, Yhwach conjured the Soul King's black energy to absorb Prime's relentless punches. However, he quickly realized the antimatter solar radiation was fundamentally incompatible with his reality and could not be stolen. Shifting tactics, Yhwach peered into a mosaic of futures, selecting one where Prime's armor naturally failed and forced it into the present. Prime fell to his knees as his armor shattered and his body began to disintegrate, but instead of fear, his face twisted into pure indignation. Reminding the Emperor that he had punched his own multiverse's gods into dust, Prime pushed himself up. The air around him warped with temporal distortion. With a defiant scream, he threw a punch that didn't just hit space, it struck the conceptual fabric of time itself. The resulting shockwave pulverized alternate futures into white static, tearing through Yhwach's defenses and caving in his chest. Bleeding black blood into the collapsing void. Yhwach offered a terrifying smile. Acknowledging Prime's brute force manipulation of reality, the Emperor activated his power one last time, choosing a distant, altered timeline to revive and heal as his body dissolved into shadows. Superboy Prime was left floating alone in the tearing, white emptiness. There was nothing left to punch. No matter how many dimensional walls he shattered, he was only ever left screaming for a home that didn't exist, forever standing in the ruins.